Boshqa mikrofon o'chirib qo'shilgan. Qo'shildi.
Demak, assalomu alaykum. Bugungi konferensiyaning a'zolari, qatnashuvchilar, bugungi konferensiyamizda 2 kunni bu konferensiyamizda yana bir bor sizlar ijozat bersalaringiz. Biz kecha boshlangan va bugun 2 kun davom etadi. Bugungi Davlat iqtisodiyot universitetining Samarqand filiali meditsinasi instituti bilan hamkorlikda va Andijon agrar universiteti bilan hamkorlikda Chigirdan Ansteffen forum Germaniyaning universiteti bilan hamkorlikda va Toshkent dasturi bilan hamkorlikda tashkil etilgan. 2 kun davom etadi. Bugungi 2 kunda sizlar ko'rib turganlar Burada işte sözge çıkışlar buladı ve sözge çıkışlarga birden savollar berilishi mumkin. From Ebro. So today we are going to open second day of our conference. So with your permission, I would like to introduce second day for all. So our conference started yesterday and today we have the second day and closing day. The conference is organized in Samarkand branch of Tashkent State University of Economics and with the collaboration with Medicine Institute and Andijon Agrarian Institute and from foreign Van Steffen Tresdorum Applied Science University and the TOPAS program. So we have key speakers today. We are very happy from seeing all the participants in this conference, and we ask you good attendance. Then we also ask you very welcome with any question during the lectures or after the lectures. So now I would like to give the turn to the key speakers from Van Steffen Tresdorum University of Applied Science in Germany, Ralf Schüler and Hans-Peter Wolf, and from Yerevan University, Armenia, Aram Arakelian. So,
Videoni qo'shing. Videoni.
Focused on the transition from theoretical education to practical education in agrarian studies at institutes for higher education. Intensifying the practical components in the training of future national agricultural experts requires realistic information on the situation of local agricultural enterprises. Accordingly, one of the central action areas of TOPAS was to support the partners in the collection, storage, and analysis of farm management data. First, in order to allow for teaching on the basis of realistic local assumptions, and second, for providing agricultural enterprises which share their data with analytical results and aggregated information. Agricultural universities educate young people to become experts in agriculture under particular consideration of the situation in their home countries. This requires different knowledge and skills that provide only in their entirety a comprehensive toolbox for successful future experts in agriculture. The teaching of scientific approaches provide methods and technologies to analyze and plan processes and enterprises. Simultaneously, relevant and location-specific data are required for understanding the reality of challenges for enterprises in the agricultural sector. The use of actual data about local and regional agricultural enterprises to analyze and plan processes and these enterprises constitutes one of the major differences between theoretical and practice-oriented education. Knowledge of the consequences from actual data on outcomes and applied methods in analysis and planning is an important asset in the qualification of graduates from local universities and institutes in national and international job markets. The primary source of realistic data are farms and other enterprises in the agricultural sector. Managers and owners of such enterprises collect and use these data for their decision making, but may face three bottlenecks. The first is that their data are related to their own enterprise only. Comparisons with other enterprises are usually restricted to exchange with personally known colleagues, but scales for assessment in comparison with a larger number of similar enterprises are not available. The second bottleneck are data and information on new processes and methods which require information from external sources. The precision of such external data is the higher the more they reflect the local conditions of the concerned enterprise. Information from international literature or research stations provide only approximative guidelines, which may greatly vary in the context of a specific enterprise. The third bottleneck is the access to new developments in data analysis and information use. An extensive toolbox of such methods is already available, but also subject to constant expansions through research and new developments. Staying up to date on these developments in order to maximize the utility of data is challenging in the context of the everyday workload of decision makers. Consequently, agricultural enterprises and institutes of higher education share a common interest in data on farm management and also in the application of methods for extracting relevant information. The partners in the project Topaz focused on this nexus of interests by supporting the required infrastructure and setup of farm management data systems at the partner institutions. This mutual support between the partners consisted out of 5 components. The first component consisted out of joint trainings on methods for on-farm collection of management-related data. The second component were joint trainings on database development and database management. And as a third component, the introduction of the standardized worksheet RegioMax for calculations and analysis of obtained data on farm capacities and agricultural production. Topaz also allowed for upgrades of the partners' computing capacities by providing additional computer rooms and servers. In addition, Topaz partner Yerevan State University developed a suitable application for web-based data input in RegioMax format in view of the potential opportunities for further extensions of local farm management data systems in the partner countries. The scope of the developed and proposed farm data management systems focuses on information on data about activities in agricultural production, as well as on the resource availability of enterprises and their external and internal constraints. A further topic are data on the dynamics of processes, which is of particular relevance with regard to investments, for example in buildings and machinery. The objective of such a farm data management system at universities is twofold. It provides the required background for practice-oriented education and teaching, and it may simultaneously provide information for agricultural enterprises, provided that the partners succeed in establishing suitable communication platforms. A promising way forward in this regard are student placements, during which students collect data about their hosting enterprises and then feed the data into the databases of their university, which returns the results later on back to the hosting enterprises. This shows a link between the Topaz action area on farm management data and the both other Topaz action areas on student placements and student-centered teaching. This link between the farm management data system at the partner universities and the local agricultural enterprises allows also for a much more ambitious vision. Data for analysis and planning on the level of agricultural enterprises are usually scarce and expensive if available at all. Germany is in the unusual position due to its Kuratorium für Technik und Bauwesen in der Landwirtschaft, the KTBL. The KTBL provides an extensive amount of data and information for decision-making in agricultural enterprises for free, since it runs on governmental funding. KTBL was a supporter of Topaz and provided a substantial part of the training on databases and agricultural statistics. The University of Applied Sciences Weihenstephan Triesdorf provided the translation of a selected database in Russian language in return. This database, which is on costs for machinery, is already online and gives an idea about our vision for all partner countries. However, this will be a mid to long-term task, but we hope that Topaz was able to facilitate the start.
So, good morning, dear participants, dear Peter. Sorry for some earlier launch of your video presentation. Please, floor is yours, Heinz Peter. So your raised hand. Microphone question. Microphone question. Now you can turn your microphone on. You should turn your microphone now.
Okay, good. So yeah, good morning or good afternoon, everybody. Thanks a lot, Farod. Issue is, well, this video that we just saw is a part of our presentation. Yeah, so this was a bit early. Doesn't matter. Do you think it's possible that I share my screen so that we can see the introduction to this video now afterwards? But anyhow, might be a good idea.
Now you can share.
Yeah, I have so many screens here in front of myself that I first have to search my mouse. Where are we? Here. Okay. Good. So now you should see the first presentation, which is a short one. So this is a presentation on farm management data systems. Just allow me to introduce myself. My name is Heinz-Peter Wolf, or briefly Peter in the Topaz project. I'm an agricultural economist by profession, and I'm in charge of the logistical and scientific coordination of Topaz under the auspices of Professor Ralf Schlauderer at the University of Applied Sciences in Weihenstephan Triesdorf. Today, I have the honor and the pleasure to present the Topaz activities on farm management data systems as a third action area that we've just seen in the video. Well, this is one of the areas that the project pursued over the last 3 years. My colleagues from Poland and the United Kingdom took care of the other both action areas yesterday when they talked about improvements of student placements in the curricula and approaches toward student-centered learning. Now, this presentation consists out of three parts. The first part is this one, presentation of the role and the just say the role of the action area farm management data systems in the context of the project Topaz. The second is this rationale of the action area that we just saw in the video, so we will not repeat that. And then there's a small video from our colleagues from Romania later on, which just briefly shows where the results from Topaz can be found in the social networks and in the internet in general. So the project Topaz consisted, since the project is in its terminal phase, out of 6 functional components. 3 of these components were action areas, which comprised student placement, which was coordinated and presented by our Polish colleagues from the University of Wrocław. Then there was student-centered learning, which was coordinated by the British colleagues from Riddle University colleagues, and farm management data, which was coordinated by us at the University of Applied Sciences in Weihenstephan-Triesdorf. So the coordination was just as the words say, the coordination, there were always contributions from all partners. The teams in these action areas could focus on their methodological tasks thanks to the support of 3 supporting areas. First was quality control, which was very effectively coordinated and implemented by our colleagues from University at Sumy in Ukraine. The colleagues from University at Iași in Romania took care of the dissemination of results and the public relations of the project. And finally, the project overall management and coordination was handled by us at the University of Applied Sciences in Germany, in Weihenstephan-Triesdorf in Germany. Goes without saying that all areas always worked in continuous and close liaison. So the distinction between the areas served for the functional description of Topaz rather than for any separation of tasks. All areas contributed equally important achievements to the project goal of switching from theory-based learning to practice-oriented learning at partner universities. Now, Stanislav Minter from Wrocław University and Nikki van Wegel presented the action areas on student placements and student-centered learning already in the yesterday's conference session. This presentation today focuses on farm management data and adds a bit of information on the developed dissemination platforms of Topaz. And we saw this already with the first video, which started a bit prematurely. And well, information on achievements in the areas of management and quality control were essential for the project itself, but will not be subject to this conference since they do not contribute to the knowledge on agricultural development. So this was a point where the first video should start, and that video already explained the rationale of the action area farm management data systems. And I think in the next session, we will also see an applied example from Ukraine when our colleague Katerina Tucik from Kiev University will show how they applied it in Ukraine already right now. So as it was already stated in the video, this is the initial phase of a long-term activity. The cooperation between the partners in Topaz will continue also in the future. And well, Topaz just sets the foundations by providing the hardware, by providing first trainings in database management and in farm data collection. And also, thanks to the contribution of our colleagues from Yerevan State University, there were first steps towards a web-based application for this data input, and then probably in future also the results output directly to farming enterprises. I mentioned in the video already the KDBL. In the proceedings of this conference, you will also find the link to this Russian page. So have a look on these results. This is how it looks later on or should look later on for farming enterprises if they are looking for data for analysis, comparison, and planning of their agricultural activities. This coincides, I think, quite well with what our colleague Shavkat Hasanov said yesterday in Uzbekistan about this agricultural development strategy for 2020 to 2030. There was one issue which was mentioned as information and communication technology. And this is exactly the point where this part of Topaz can contribute or should contribute. In other words, provide information to farmers, use the new technologies, internet-based technologies, especially hard data, because if you plan in a farm, if you organize something in a farm, you need hard data, which is fine as long as these are processes that you are doing for a lot of years. But it becomes problematic if you want to introduce some innovations, if you want to introduce new products or new processes or even new methods for marketing of your products, then you need these hard data, not a lot of publications from other regions, but data on your region. And we think, we means Topaz partners, we agreed that the universities, the institutes of higher education are in a unique position. So they could host such data sampling scheme, such databases, and they could also make it accessible to the farming enterprises, not only farms, also processing enterprises in the agricultural sector, so that they are in a better position in planning and organizing supply chains and value chains, but therefore they need this information. Information is money, information is value. It's always a tendency, we see it in a lot of countries, that private companies take over these services, but then the farmers and the enterprises have to pay for this information. Well, this is basically fine. This is a free market, this is capitalism, but the universities, due to their student placement schemes, have direct access to these data. So why not collect them, make them accessible for the farms and enterprises? So this would, in our opinion, be a strong support also to the economic development of the agricultural sector in the region of the university. So this would also be an incentive to send young people to these universities. Young people would work with actual data, with real data from their location, which also makes them valuable on the international job market, because nobody except them has a knowledge about the situation in this area. Good. So this was briefly the, just wanted to, in this one, within the project of Topaz, we also discussed how the structures of these database management, these database handling should be distributed in the universities, and the partners gave their first idea how this could look like at their university with regard to responsibilities for the different elements. So for the web-based application, the interface development, database maintenance and storage, then for the communication plan, because, well, the value of data originates from their distribution to people who can use these data. And there we said, okay, we have to determine a responsible unit, and we have to determine responsible persons, so that everybody knows where he or she has to go if they need some information or if they want to provide some information to these databases. Good. So now, where to find, well, not that well, the videos will be uploaded also on the homepage. It was a premiere today, so we produced this in our office in Weihenstephan Triesdorf for the occasion of this conference, but we will also put it later on our webpage. And Bell, Farod, please feel free if you want to present proceedings from this conference also on the web pages of your university. Bahodilion, same holds for you. Then feel free to upload these videos also to your home pages. Good. So now let's come to the last and very short video on the issue where to find the results of Topaz. For example, some teaching materials on how to manage databases, things like that. And this video was produced by Vlad from Romania. So our colleagues in Romania who were responsible for public relations and for the dissemination of the results. And it's just about a minute. So we have basically 3 platforms. We have a web page, we have there's a Facebook group and a Twitter group, but this will be shown briefly in this video. So I think you should see the video right now, and I'll let it run. Yeah, now.
Hi, Peter, we cannot hear voice.
Yeah, let me just stop it. Problem is, I just received this video 2 days ago from Vlad, and there was no, I don't know if. Let's see if it gets better. I'm just.
When you share, there are tick that with voice or without voice. So you should tick.
Sorry.
Just
going to check if I. Yeah, you're right. I forgot to share the sound. Thanks. Good. So now again.
Very well present on the web. First of all, the Topaz project website is
so you hear it now?
Structured. The menu includes the title of the project, which is From Theoretical Oriented to Practical Education in Agrarian Studies. The menu includes the project aims and objectives, impact, dissemination, and sustainability, work packages for all the 3 years, results, information, downloads.
Oh, okay. I see. No video is.
Contacts.
I don't believe it. Let me try it again. So not my day. Okay. So now you can see it. Now you can see it. Last try. Okay, good.
The Topaz project is very well present on the web. First of all, the Topaz project website is well structured. The menu includes the title of the project, which is From Theoretical Oriented to Practical Education in Agrarian Studies. The menu includes the project aims and objectives, impact, dissemination, and sustainability, work packages for all the 3 years, results, information, downloads, and contacts where all the partners are listed from each partner countries. The Topaz project also has a Facebook page where all pieces of information are well disseminated. It also has a Twitter page where all Topaz events are uploaded.
Okay, I think, yeah, that was it. As I said, there are 3 sources in the internet publicly available: the web page, the Facebook page or the Facebook group, and the Twitter group. You'll find the URLs, the addresses, at least of the web page, I think also in the program of this conference. Otherwise, you could ask our colleagues at Samarkand and at Andijan. They have the URLs freely available. You also can find it with the search engine in the net. So this was basically our short presentation on the role of farm management data under the auspices of Topaz. And I hope it was quite informative. I see that there are 2 hands raised. So could the organizers just hand the word to the colleagues who have questions on this issue?
I think this the hands were raised at the start of today's conference, but I'll ask in Uzbek any case. Ikkita qo'l ko'tarilgan Abdusalom va Zarifa bilan Alisher Xushnazarov sizlarda hozirgi taqdimot bo'yicha savollar bo'lsa, marhamat, tarjima qilamiz. Agar bo'lmaydigan bo'lsa, qo'l ko'tarilgan qo'llarni o'chirib qo'yishlaringizni so'raymiz. Savol deb tushunyapti. Yes, they were raised at the beginning. So.
Okay, good. So then I assume my contribution is finished right now. If there are no questions, I would be grateful if you could shut off my microphone again. Otherwise, you'll hear the background noise in my office here. But thanks a lot for listening. And I hope this gave a brief introduction on what we did in Topaz with regard to this action area farm management data and how this interacted also with the student placements. And then as a result, also should provide materials for the student-centered teaching. So thanks a lot on behalf of Ralf Schlauderer and myself and the rest of our team in Weihenstephan-Triesdorf. Yeah, just one issue. If there are questions about the web-based app, which was developed by Yerevan State University, I see Aram Karapetyan, Professor Aram Karapetyan is also here. Don't hesitate to ask him if there are things to explain, because it was his team who developed this web app. No question?
I think there one question. I announced that we have a question from Halle. Our colleague Absamit Tajiv is from Halle. He's in Germany. Please,
I see.
Assalamu alaikum. Barchangiz online ko'rtirganimdan xursandman, ustozlar. Hello everybody, nice to see you, and thank you, Professor, for a nice presentation. I have 2 questions regarding your presentation. The first is based on data. Have you published any paper? Any paper? And second question is, can you give information in detail about missing data and outlier data? How did you resolve these problems? Because one of the slides you mentioned about missing data and outlier data. Yeah. Thank you.
I didn't get the first question. Could you repeat the first question?
First question: did you publish any papers or kind of articles based on collected data?
Well, part of it. The Topaz team presented first results at the Tropentag, the Tropical Day, which is a European, I think you know it, a European conference on agricultural development worldwide. And they did this in 2019, I think 2020 also, but there Professor Schlauderer knows better. And if you could just say yes. Yeah. So so there were publications to the especially to the right now to the other universities, so that they are informed what's going on, because the idea of Topaz is not only to improve the situation at the partner universities, but also to provide some kind of baseline, some kind of initial example, which can easily be copied also by other universities. I think University of Weihenstephan-Triesdorf is already working with some universities in the Western Balkans, so in Serbia, Bosnia, and Croatia on this issue. So we try to provide the methodological basis, and there I come to your second question in a minute, but also to find out, okay, what is the logistics which is required at university level in order to accomplish such a task? What hardware is required? What software and especially also human software knowledge is required at the universities to run such a data collection scheme and data management scheme in the long run? Because you cannot do this just for a couple of years. This should, in the ideal case, then continue over several years, so that you also have the comparison timelines of data of agricultural development, which then allows for the prognosis on what comes next. On this methodological issue, missing data and outliers, well, there is a paper on our homepage. We wrote a paper and we published this paper there also. And this was the contents of the training on these issues. Yeah? So we pursued mathematical approaches here. So whatever statistics provides as auxiliary tools for handling such problems, which you always have if you run databases. So I don't want to go into detail here, because it goes too far into the statistics. Well, I wrote the paper, so I could go, but I don't think that it is very helpful right now. Just have a look on our homepage in the internet, and there, I think in the results sections or in the activity sections, there are the materials that we use in this training for database development.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, anybody else, or?
So,
thank you, Ralf.
Thank you very much, Heinz-Peter. So I kindly ask today's and yesterday's presenters to send us PowerPoint slides to be published on conference web page. So if we have some, but those who haven't done that, please could you send me directly your presentations, because people are asking for presentations too.
Okay, just one issue there. I uploaded all our contributions already, and also the one from Katharina Tutzik, to the Moodle page. Well, the Moodle page is not officially accessible, but you can download it from there and use it and also put it in your documents, okay? And yeah, and if
that was just announcement for our people that presentations will be available at conference web page too.
Okay, good, fine. Yeah, thank you. So I'm going to mute my mic again, all right?
So next presentation is coming from Ukraine, from National University of Life and Environmental Science of Ukraine, for our colleague Katerina Tuzik, Dr. Tuzik, on Ukraine Farm Data Management Project. That is just a practical application of what just have been presented. Следующее слово предоставится Катерине Тужик из Национального университета Украины. Пожалуйста, Катерина, Катя.
Добрый день, меня слышно хорошо?
Слышно.
Отлично. Презентацию я делюсь со всеми участниками. Минуточку. Видно? Меня слышно и видно?
Да, слышно.
Отлично, тогда начнем. Мое имя Катерина Тужик, я с Национального университета биоресурсов и природопользования с Киева, и хотела бы сегодня представить практический пример, скажем, сбора данных в Украине, и хотела бы поделиться нашим опытом. Проект называется Ukrainian Farm Management Data. Презентация будет на английском для наших международных гостей. Буду выступать на русском языке, потому что важно донести этот опыт, и чтобы было больше понятно большему количеству людей. Начался этот проект в 2018 году, в конце 2018 года, заканчивается он в конце июля, и за этот период мы встретились с трудностями и с взлетом, скажем, в процессе реализации этого проекта. И сегодня бы я хотела вам рассказать про идею этого проекта, как она возникла, почему возникла, в чем суть, какие трудности и какие перспективы мы получили в процессе реализации проекта, какие достижения у нас есть на сегодняшний день и какие, как пример, как мы реализуем наш план и какие индикаторы оценки эффективности нашего проекта. И в дальнейшем, что мы собираемся дальше делать. Как возникла эта идея Ukrainian Farm Management Data? Вначале был проект TOPAS, а потом в процессе реализации TOPAS проекта мы поняли о том, что есть недостаточное количество реальных данных с сельхозпредприятий, и университеты находятся в некой дистанции между практической стороной, между сельхозпредприятием. Также есть недостаточный уровень понимания студентами, что происходит в реальном практическом мире. И мы решили, что есть такая потребность сбора данных, каким образом студенты во время их практического обучения на сельхозпредприятиях, они обучаются процессу воспроизводства и вместе с тем собирают данные. Какие данные собираются? Для расчета маржинального дохода, то есть это переменные издержки и цена реализации товарной продукции, то есть валовая выручка. Нас не интересует на данный момент постоянные издержки сельхозпроизводства, потому что когда мы начинаем говорить о налогах, когда мы начинаем говорить о других каких-то постоянных издержках, тут возникают трудности. Одна из трудностей, что сельхозпредприятия, они не хотят делиться этой информацией. Ни для кого не секрет, почему. Я думаю, Узбекистан тоже очень хорошо понимает, почему возникают такие трудности. В общем, поэтому мы фокусируемся только на маржинальном доходе. И каким образом, какие объекты или какие цели в этом проекте, в ходе этого проекта? То есть, во-первых, это во-первых, это создание электронной базы. Я прошу прощения, просто всегда я презентовала эту презентацию и контент на английском языке, на русском начинаю переводить. Поэтому первая цель – это формирование электронной базы данных сельхозпредприятий, маржинальных расчетов, опубликование, высветление этих данных, сближение кооперации между аграрными университетами и другими заинтересованными сторонами, в том числе и сельхозпредприятиями, с семейными фермерствами. Сбор данных проводится анонимно, то есть когда мы обмениваемся данными, мы не знаем, с какого сельхозпроизводства эти данные. и, скажем, где находится это сельхозпредприятие, то есть данные предварительно зашифрованы. И в подтверждение это мы придумали 2 вида договоров, которые подписываются между университетом и между сельхозпредприятием. Это первый договор про сотрудничество, второй договор — это про анонимность данных, что мы не будем их использовать и открывать эту информацию для других заинтересованных сторон. И это действует, это важно для некоторых наших партнеров с сельхозпроизводства. И одним из важных, скажем, целей, что сбор данных — это, скажем, не отдельная часть учебного процесса, это неотъемлемая часть учебного процесса. То есть студенты во время их практического обучения, как я уже сказала, во время каких-то field-trip, полевых исследований, аспиранты точно так же, когда им нужно собрать какие-то данные для диссертаций, или же преподаватели, которые хотят собрать данные для публикации, для хорошей, качественной научной какой-то публикации. То есть все эти сферы задействованы в сборе данных. Естественно, когда мы говорим о студентах, в процессе сбора данных обязательно опытный преподаватель, то есть тот преподаватель, который понимает, какие данные нужно собрать, для чего, он координирует студентов как супервайзер. И одна финальная цель — это формирование базы данных, как я уже сказала, базы данных, которая похожа на немецкую базу данных, которую Хайнц Питер уже презентовал, KTBL. Конечно, эта база данных формировалась много-много лет, мы только начинаем, это первые шаги наши, и будем развиваться в этом направлении. Какие трудности возникли и какие решения этих трудностей в процессе реализации проекта? Ну, первое — это довера до университетов и до тех, кто собирает данные. Поэтому, как уже было обозначено выше, мы подписываем договора двух видов, в том числе про анонимность данных. Как организовать сбор данных, как выход — это неотъемлемая часть научного процесса, то есть студенты в период их практического обучения находятся на сельхозпредприятиях и собирают эти данные. Как опубликовать эти данные, собранные данные. Здесь, конечно, требуется более глубокий подход и более глубокий анализ, потому что данные собираются за один финансовый или маркетинговый год. То есть очень тяжело собрать данные за последние 5 лет для того, чтобы обозначить средние величины, допустим, переменных издержек на ремонт механизации. На данный момент это невозможно, поэтому потребуются дальнейшие годы для сбора этих данных, для, возможно, получения экспертной мысли по сбору данных, если касается механизации, какие могут быть средние издержки на ремонт техники. Какие перспективы студенты находятся на сельхозпредприятии? Они во время их практического обучения, они учатся, как собирать данные, они делают расчеты, они понимают системность и понимают, как можно оценивать сельхозпроизводство и сельхозпредприятие как систему. И сбор данных производится на ферме, на поле, можно так сказать. Какие достижения? Очень важно отметить, что 4 аграрных университета, которые задействованы в этом проекте, это Сумской национальный аграрный университет, который находится в Сумской области, в Сумах. Есть представители сегодня. Национальный координатор этого университета по реализации проекта Алина Брычко. Второй университет Николаевский аграрный университет национальный, который находится на юге нашей страны, там координатор Ольга Христенко, Национальный университет водного хозяйства и природопользования, который находится на западе страны, координатор Алла Викторовна Кучерова, и Национальный университет биоресурсов и природопользования, который находится в Киеве, и координатор являюсь я, Екатерина Тужик. Также координирую весь проект. Какие еще достижения в ходе реализации нашего проекта? Ну, во-первых, эти данные используются во время обучения в разных курсах, дисциплинах, от экономических до агрономических, если это касается внесения минеральных удобрений в почву, что тоже есть интересным. Это улучшение практики для студентов, потому что мы ищем сельхозпредприятия, которые заинтересованы обучить студентов, которые заинтересованы поделиться опытом, поделиться данными, и которые понимают, в чем суть этого проекта, что студенты после их выпуска — это будущие специалисты, которые могут быть трудоустроены в этих предприятиях. Также это постоянные визиты на фермерские сельхозпредприятия в рамках каких-то семинарских лекций или семинарских занятий на один день. Это тоже улучшает и процесс обучения, и разбавляет теорию с практикой. И это магистерские, эти данные используются на написание магистерских работ и аспирантских работ, что тоже есть не менее важным. На этом слайде вы видите пример, допустим, наших индикаторов эффективности проекта в 2020 году, в прошлом году, и какие рабочие пакеты, work packages в этом проекте. Это первое участие, сколько визитов на фермерство было, сколько студентов были на этих визитах, сколько колледжев мы сотрудничаем потому что один важный момент — это передать методику, передать наш опыт на структурные подразделения, колледжи или же неструктурные подразделения, колледжи, которые заинтересованы также внедрить метод сбора данных и внедрить практические методы обучения в стенах их институтов. И консорциум — это понятно, 4 университета, которые реализуют этот проект. 2 раза на год у нас сетевые встречи, скажем, встречи координаторов. В 2019-2018 было проще, конечно, мы встречались, то есть каждый раз мы встречались в новом университете. В 2020, как и все остальное, перешло в онлайн-режим. Также воркшопы. В 2019 году у нас было 2 воркшопа. Один мы принимали участие в Агритехника в Ганновере, в Германии. И второй воркшоп у нас был по сбору данных. Мы были на семейном фермерстве в Германии с другими участниками. Также воркшопы, семинары. Мы учились собирать эти данные, координаторы, собирать эти данные и рассчитывать, анализировать. Потому что когда мы хотим обучить преподавателей, поделиться опытом с преподавателями, обучить наших студентов, мы должны понимать сами на 100%, что мы хотим, какие данные нам нужны и как это все должно быть организовано. Второй рабочий пакет — это сбор данных, сколько маржинальных доходов мы планируем. Это 80, сколько маржинальных доходов мы собрали. Опять-таки, 2020 год был тяжелым годом для нас, потому что много ограничений, и студенты также были на дистанционном обучении, и было не столь возможно ездить по сельхозпредприятиям и организовывать эти встречи. Сколько магистерских работ мы запланировали написать с использованием этих данных, с расчетами. 6 мы сделали, 6 студентов использовали эти данные, написали магистерские работы. В 16 дисциплинах используются эти данные, в 4 университетах используются эти данные. То есть мы видим важность и полезность, скажем, нашего проекта. И распространение: у нас есть сайт, у нас есть тоже социальная группа в Facebook, и мы также публиковали наши работы, одна на Тропентак, и также в украинских конференциях принимаем участие, где мы делимся нашим опытом и нашим проектом. Если же мы говорим про публикации, сейчас мы очень плодотворно работаем над нашим первым handbook, довідник мы его назвали на украинском языке, в котором можно найти как теоретический материал, как описание методов, как рассчитывалось, для чего и как использовать, рекомендации, как использовать эти данные, и первые маржинальные доходы, которые мы собрали. Данные представлены за 2018 год. Когда мы начинали эту идею, то есть это будет как финальный отчет нашего проекта, и мы очень гордимся этим. Но когда мы говорили впервые про эту идею, мы не могли представить, сколько работы будет. Это нелегкий труд, но эта книга уже печатается, 600 экземпляров, которые будут разосланы на 4 университета, также в министерство, также в министерство в Германии, потому что они поддерживают этот проект. В Бонн ADT-организация. Здесь на слайде вы видите все наши партнеры, которые поддерживают реализацию этого проекта в Агроосвиту. И, да, и студенты смогут использовать эту книгу в процессе обучения. Какие последующие шаги после окончания проекта? Потому что важно, когда проект заканчивается, важно не останавливаться. Даже когда заканчивается финансовая поддержка, бюджет нашего проекта не такой, чтобы жить на широкую ногу, скажем так. В бюджете в основном это поддержка транспортных затрат, если мы собираем группу студентов, или же студент едет на сельхозпредприятие, и для того, чтобы облегчить эти транспортные затраты, у нас есть на это бюджет, и мы компенсируем эти издержки. Какие дальнейшие наши шаги? Это делиться опытом с заинтересованными колледжами, то есть продолжать в этом русле. И опять-таки в рамках обучающего процесса дальше собирать эти данные и сформировать эту электронную базу, которая хотя бы немножечко будет похожа на КТБ, которая будет полезна как для сельхозпредприятий, как для министерств, так и для консалтинговых компаний. На этом все. Спасибо за внимание. Если есть вопросы, с радостью отвечу.
Спасибо, Катерина, за интересную и полезную презентацию. И на трудности, связанные с переводом на ходу на русский язык, я думаю, этим мы смогли достичь более широкого охвата. I am sorry for our foreign partners that we have asked Kate to make presentation in Russian because due to reach a more wider audience on understanding what we have done during the last 4 years. Now by schedule we have a break for 15, let's say 20 minutes, and you may leave your connections open. So in 20 minutes, we will continue our presentation, our conference with presentation from Bahadurjon Nasirov from Andijan. Hurmatli konferensiya ishtirokchilar, hozir 20 minutlik tanaffus e'lon qilinadi. Zoom qatnashchilari Zoom aloqalarini qoldirishlari mumkin. Keyin 20 minutdan so'ng konferensiyamiz davom etadi. Andijondan kelgan mehmonimiz, qatnashchimiz Bahadurjon Nosirovning prezentatsiyasi bilan. Rahmat. Thank you very much. Хорошо. Dear colleagues, dear friends, participants, let us continue conference session. So next presentation is given by Bahadujon Nasir from Andijan Institute of Agriculture and Agri-Technology on results of Topaz project in Andijan. Hurmatli konferensiya ishtirokchilari, konferensiya faoliyatini davom ettirishga ruxsat berasizlar. Keyingi mavzu uchun keyingi so'z Andijon qishloq xo'jaligi va agrotexnologiya instituti dotsenti, xalqaro aloqalar bo'lim boshlig'i Bahodirjon Nasir tomonidan beriladi. Marhamat.
Dear friends, dear participants of the international conference, it's a great pleasure to me to present results of Topaz project about goals, achievements, and sustainability in the future in Andijan Agriculture and Agri-Technology Institute. Today's conference audience is few Uzbek participants. Therefore, allow me present the presentation in English and some comments in Uzbek language. Assalomu alaykum, hurmatli konferensiya qatnashchilari, hurmatli do'stlar. Bugun men sizlarga katta mamnuniyat bilan Andijon qishloq xo'jaligi va agrotexnologiyalar institutida Erasmus Plus Topaz loyihasi doirasida erishilgan natijalarni qisqa bayon qilishdan mamnunman. Avvalo, Erasmus Plus Topaz loyihamizdagi hamkorlar Yevropadan Germaniyaning Weihenstephan-Trizdorf amaliy fanlar universiteti, Buyuk Britaniyaning Rietl universiteti, Polsha Wrocław tabiiy fanlar universiteti, Ruminiyaning IASI veterinariya meditsina universiteti, Ukraina Kiev tabiiy fanlar universiteti, Sumy davlat agrar universiteti, Armaniston milliy agrar universiteti va Armaniston davlat universiteti va Samarqand veterinariya meditsina institutidagi hamkorlarimizga chuqur minnatdorchilik bildirmoqchiman. Ushbu Topaz loyihamiz bugungi kundagi qishloq xo'jaligi oliy ta'limidagi dolzarb muammolar yechimiga bag'ishlangan, oldiga katta maqsadlar qo'ygan holatda loyihani amalga oshirish boshlandi va o'ylaymanki biz asosan oldimizga qo'yilgan natijalarga erishdik. Mana shu loyihani amalga oshirish uchun avvalo bizni institutimizda institut rektori byurosi bilan malakali mutaxassislardan iborat jamoa tuzildi va bu jamoa hozirgi aytilgan maqsadlarga erishish yo'nalishida o'z mehnatlari bilan hissa qo'shdi. Qishloq xo'jaligi oliy ta'limida biz qishloq xo'jaligi menejment ta'lim yo'nalishidagi amaliyotga yo'naltirilgan ta'lim takomillashtirish bo'yicha ishlarni olib borishni rejalashtirdik va asosan shu yo'nalish qishloq xo'jaligi iqtisodiyoti, qishloq xo'jaligi menejment yo'nalishlariga oid bo'lgan ishlarni amalga oshirdik. Bunda mana shu jamoa tomonidan dastlab loyihadagi holat tahlil qilindi. Bunda aytish mumkinki, hozirgi vaqtdagi amaliyotlar va mana shuni tashkil qilish, amalga oshirish, baholash, shartnomalar tuzish, bu yerdagi tashkiliy boshqa ishlarni amalga oshirishda Yevropa ittifoqidagi hozir aytib o'tilgan hurmatli hamkorlarimiz tajribalari yaxshi o'rganib chiqildi va bizdagi mavjud holat bilan taqqoslandi. Buning natijasida hozirgi bevosita o'sha amaliyot obyektini tanlash uchun qaysi shartlar, kriteriyalar, qanday bir mezonlarga rioya qilish masalasi hozirgi bizdagi holat va Yevropa ittifoqidagi tajribalar bilan taqqoslama tahlil qilindi. Bundan tashqari shu amaliyotda biriktiriladigan rahbarlar, amaliyot davomida tayyorlanadigan hisobot, amaliyotda natijalari bo'yicha tayyorlangan hisobotni baholash uslubiyotlari hozirgi tartibda shu barcha taqqoslama tahlil qilinib o'rganildi va aynan qaysi yo'nalishlarda qanday ishlarni amalga oshirish kerakligi belgilab olindi. Bundan tashqari keyingi mana shu holatda bevosita talabalar, o'qituvchilar va ish beruvchilar hisoblangan fermerlar kengashi, xo'jalik korxonalari vakillari ishtirokida shu so'rovnomalar o'tkazildi. Bu so'rovnomalar natijasida aynan aytishimiz mumkinki, shu qishloq xo'jaligi menejment bo'yicha yo'nalishda tashkil qilinayotgan amaliyotlarda hozirgi amaliyotni o'ziga xos xususiyatlardan tashqari asosan rasmiy ma'lumotlar, ya'ni bevosita shu fermer xo'jaliklarining o'zidan olingan ma'lumotga tayanmagan holatda umumiylashtirilgan, o'rtacha holatga yaqinlashtirilgan ko'proq ma'lumotlardan foydalanilishi va haqiqiy holatni tahlil qilishga ozroq yordam berishini, xalaqit berishini to'g'riroq o'rgandik. Mana shu nuqtai nazardan amaliyot dasturi, uni davomiyligi ko'rib chiqildi va tegishli tartibda shu tahlil qilib hozirgi to'g'rilash yo'nalishida shu hozir hamkorlikdagi ishlar amalga oshirildi. Aytish mumkinki, natijalar ancha yaxshi. Buni quyidagi holatlardan biz ko'rishimiz mumkin. Mana shu joyda amaliyotni tashkil qilish uchun dastlabki koordinatsion yig'ilishda, shu Samarqandda tashkil etilgan yig'ilishda hozirgi aytilgan hamma maqsadlar, ishchi paketlar, ishchi guruhlar shakllantirildi va hamkorlikda mana shu yo'nalishdagi ishlar amalga oshirildi. Bu hozirgi ishlarni bajarish uchun institutimizda ancha katta yutuqlarga, natijalarga erishdi deb ayta olamiz. Ayrimlarini sanab o'tishga ijozat bergaysizlar. Shu maxsus kompyuterlashgan amaliy mashg'ulotlar texnikasi bilan jihozlangan amaliy mashg'ulot xonasi jihozlandi. Ma'lumotlarni to'plash, saqlash, boshqarish uchun server sotib olindi va bundan tashqari mana shu aytilgan Yevropa tajribasini, xorijiy mamlakatlardagi amaliyotlar tajribasini o'rganish uchun Yevropa ittifoqidagi hamkorlarimizda tashkil qilingan treninglarda qatnashishga nomzodlar saralandi. Buni mana shu aytilgan yo'nalishlarda alohida tashkil qilingan, masalan, Germaniyaning amaliy fanlar universitetida tashkil qilingan treningda agrobiznes va investitsion faoliyat kafedrasi dotsenti To'chiyev Abdurahmon aka qatnashdi va bu yerda hozirgi maxsus ma'lumotlar bazasini tayyorlash, bu yerdagi qishloq xo'jalik korxonalari faoliyati bilan bevosita tanishish, bu yerdagi ma'lumotlarni tahlil qilish, saralash bo'yicha treninglarda qatnashdi hamda o'sha asosiy natijalardan biri bo'lgan video darslar, video masofaviy ta'lim bo'yicha o'quv uslubiy materiallar tayyorlash jarayonida qatnashdi. Bundan keyin Polshaning Wroclaw atrofli tabiiy fanlar universitetida tashkil etilgan treninglarda universitetimizdan professor o'qituvchilarimizdan qatnashdi va bu yerda bevosita amaliyotlarni hozirgi bevosita ishlab chiqarish obyektlarida, qishloq xo'jalik korxonalarida tayyorlash bo'yicha tajribalar o'rganib kelindi. Shuningdek, Ruminiyaning Iași shahridagi veterinariya meditsinasi universitetida tashkil etilgan treninglarda o'qituvchimiz shu Qurbonov Jasurbek qatnashib, 2019-yil oktyabr oyida amaliyot tashkil etish bo'yicha tajribalarini o'rgandi. Va albatta bu treninglarga talabalarimiz ham jalb qilindi. 2 nafar talabamiz Germaniyaning Weinstein Trisdorf tabiiy fanlar universitetida, 2 nafar talabamiz Polshaning Rostov tabiiy fanlar universitetida va 2 nafar talabamiz Ruminiyaning Yarsi veterinariya universitetida tashkil etilgan treninglarda qatnashib, o'z tajribalarini oshirib keldilar. Bundan tashqari, mana shu treninglar va boshqa hamkorlikdagi ishlar natijalarini o'zida aks ettirilgan video materiallar, prezentatsiyalar, taqdimotlar, amaliy mashg'ulotlar uchun materiallar hammasi o'zbek tiliga shu samarqandlik hamkasblarimiz bilan birgalikda tarjima qilindi va o'quv jarayonida qo'llash uchun tayyorlandi, taqdim qilindi. Bu qishloq xo'jaligi ishlab chiqarish iqtisodiyoti fani tanlangan bo'lib, barcha hamkorlarning vakillari yordamida mavzular bo'lishgan holatda video darslar tayyorlandi, tarjima qilindi va bevosita o'quv jarayoniga qo'llanishga tayyor holatga keltirildi. Shuningdek, bu maxsus tayyorlangan fan bo'yicha barcha o'quv materiallar TOPS loyihasining rasmiy veb-saytiga joylashtirildi va ochiq foydalanish uchun tarmoqqa joylab qo'yildi. Va mana shu aytilgan o'quv amaliyotlarining hamma shartnomadan boshlab shu tashkil qilish, hisobot tayyorlash, uni baholash va boshqa xususiyatlari, bu yerdagi muammolar, ularning yechimlari aniqlangan holatdagi tajribalar umumlashgan o'quv qo'llanma tayyorlandi TOPS loyihasi natijasida va bu o'quv qo'llanma ham hozirda o'zbek tiliga, ukrain, arman tiliga tarjima qilindi, chop etildi va tarqatildi. Bu natijada amaliyotlarni takomillashtirish bo'yicha hozirgi o'quv jarayoniga qo'llanish davom etyapti. Jumladan har bir o'zimizni institutimiz misolida ko'chma amaliy mashg'ulotlar shaklida yirik fermer xo'jaliklari, agroklasterlar ishlab chiqarish korxonalarida ma'lum ixtisoslik fanlar bo'yicha ko'chma mashg'ulotlar tashkil qilinib, bevosita shu ishlab chiqarish obyektlarini, infratuzilma obyektlarini o'zida shu fan bo'yicha amaliy mashg'ulotlar tashkil qilinyapti. Bu ta'limda aniq ishonchli ma'lumotlar yordamida amaliy mashg'ulot tashkil qilish, ta'lim sifatini oshirishga va tayyorlangan mutaxassislarni malakasini ancha ko'tarishga sabab bo'ldi. TOPS loyihasini natijasida albatta institutimiz jamoasi katta yutuqlarga erishdi. Buning uchun yana bir marta barcha hamkorlarga chuqur minnatdorchilik bildiramiz va albatta niyat qilamizki, yangi bir g'oyalar bilan, yangi loyihalar bilan shu boshlangan TOPS loyihasidagi ishlarni hamkorlikda yana davom ettirish nasib qiladi. Albatta TOPS loyihasini maqsad vazifalari, erishilgan natijalari, bajarilgan ishlarni targ'ib qilishda keng imkoniyatlardan foydalandik. Jumladan institut ilmiy kengashida bir necha marta muhokama qilindi. Bu hozirgi aytilgandek bir necha marta talabalar, o'qituvchilar va ishlab chiqarish vakillari ishtirokida so'rovnomalar o'tkazildi va dastlabki va keyingi holatlar taqqoslandi. Undan keyin shu ijtimoiy tarmoqlarda, rasmiy veb-saytimizda bu e'lon qilindi va institutimizda xalqaro aloqalarni yangi bosqichga ko'tarib, milliy va xalqaro darajadagi reytinglarini oshirishga yaxshi yordam berdi. E'tiborlaringiz uchun rahmat.
Rahmat Bahodurjon. Thank you very much. We apologize for our foreign partners that we have presented presentation in English, but we thought that it's important to disseminate results of project for local partners, because main content was already explained before by our European colleagues as well. So if there are any questions to present, further savollar bo'ladigan bo'lsa, marhamat.
Muhadirjon, mana shu klinik ishlarning amaliy ahamiyati nimalarga aks ettirildi? Bu targ'ibotdan tashqari.
His question from Professor Murtazayev, that what are the practical aspects of your results in the implementation?
Savolingiz uchun rahmat. Amaliy mashg'ulotlarni oliy ta'lim jarayonida mutaxassis tayyorlashda ahamiyati kattaligini bu loyihani bajarish davomida yana ishonch hosil qildik. Shu maqsaddan kelib chiqqan holatda o'quv jarayonida amaliyotlarni davomiyligi, ularni o'tkazish davri, vaqti, joyi bo'yicha takliflar tayyorlandi. Shu rahbariyat bilan taklif berildi va shu amaliyotga joriy qilindi. Hozir aytib o'tganimizdek, haftani bir kuni o'quv jarayoni davomida alohida ajratilib, yirik agroklasterlar, fermer xo'jaliklari, ishlab chiqarish infratuzilma obyektlari bilan shartnoma asosida ko'chma amaliy mashg'ulotlar tashkil qilindi. Bundan tashqari, nafaqat biz tanlagan yo'nalishda boshqa yo'nalishlarga ham joriy qilib, shu ishlar amaliyotlarida odatda biz o'quv jarayonida iyun, avgust oylarida o'quv rejalari turgan bo'lsa, hozirda bevosita shu qishloq xo'jalik ishlab chiqarishda hamma bosqichini bevosita joyida ishlab chiqarish obyektida o'rganish uchun hozirdan mana shu yo'nalish, ta'lim yo'nalishidan kelib chiqqan holatda amaliyotlar tashkil etish paytiga ham o'zgarish kiritildi, bu amaliyotga kiritildi. Ya'ni hozirgi paytda 3-bosqich ko'p ta'lim yo'nalish bakalavrdagi talabalarimiz amaliyotga chiqib ketdi. Misol uchun o'sha yerga ishlov berish, ekish, uni usullar himoyalash, mexanizatsiya ishlari, boshqalarini o'zini bevosita o'sha davr o'tib ketgandan keyin emas, shuni dalada yoki o'sha ishlab chiqarish obyektini o'zida ko'rish imkoniyatiga ega bo'ldi. Amaliyotda davri hozirgi nimada o'quv rejani amaliyotlar qismidan shu odatdagi yozda o'tiladigan amaliyot ishlab chiqarish bosqichlariga mos holatda tashkil qilindi deb ayta olamiz. Bundan tashqari, hozir aytgandek, xorijiy tajribalarda o'rganib kelgan talabalarimiz shu o'zini guruhlarda, boshqa yig'ilishlarda shu imkoniyatlar hammaga tushuntirib taqdim qilindi. Rasmiy veb-saytda, ijtimoiy tarmoqlarda bu natijalar ko'rsatildi va o'ylaymanki, biz shu TOPS loyihasini natijasida katta bir sifat darajasida, malakali mutaxassislar tayyorlash darajasida navbatdagi yuqori bosqichga erisha olamiz.
Rahmat.
Menimcha yana bitta savol bor. Musayeva Shoira tomonidan. Shoira Azimova, marhamat, agar savolingiz bo'ladigan bo'lsa. Mikrofonni yoqishingiz kerak. Biz eshitmayapmiz sizni. Demak, oldinroq ko'tarilgan bo'lsa kerak. We have one raised hand, but probably it was something mistaken. She didn't respond. So, if there are any other questions, yana savollar bo'lsa, marhamat, mikrofonni qo'shishingiz mumkin. Mikrofon qo'shish ruxsat berilgan. Bo'lmasa, Bahadirjon, sizga katta rahmat. Thank you very much, Bahadirjon, for your presentation. So from yesterday, we have one presentation of mine. So I'm Farhat Aklarov, now representing Samarkand branch of Tashkent State University of Economics, and partially engaged with Samarkand Institute of Medicine at the start of the project. I was a full-time position here and coordinated project activities at the university nationwide. So I'll make a brief explanation in both languages, in English and Uzbek. I'll translate myself, and I'll try to be short as much as possible, because everything that Bahadurjan explained it was done in our university too. Hurmatli konferensiya ishtirokchilari, men Farhod Aklarov, hozirda Toshkent iqtisodiyot universiteti Samarqand filialida faoliyat yurityapman va o'rindoshlik asosida Samarqand veterinar meditsina institutida ishlayman. Loyihani boshlanishida veterinar meditsina institutida bu loyihani shu faoliyat davomida bu yerda koordinatorligini olib borganman. Ruxsatlaringiz bilan, demak, bu yerda ko'pchilik o'zbek tilida tushunadigan uchun ikkita tilda qisqa qilib o'taman. Bu yuqorida aytilgan Bahadurjon Nosirov tomonidan aytib o'tilgan faoliyatning barchasi Samarqand veterinar meditsinasi oldin Samarqand qishloq xo'jaligi institutida ham xuddi shunday davom etgan, parallelcha olib borilgan edi. Men o'shadan salgina umumiy xulosalarini aytib o'taman. Loyihaning maqsadi bu qishloq xo'jaligi agrar sohadagi oliy ta'lim tizimiga amaliyotga asoslangan ta'limni, amaliyotga asoslangan va studentga, talabaga yo'naltirilgan ta'lim tizimini joriy qilish edi. Bu loyihada yuqorida aytilyapti, demak, Ukraina, O'zbekiston va Armaniston davlatlari oliy ta'lim muassasalari ishtirokchi qatnashgan edi. So here's aim of project. So you can read that from presentation. Its main aim is briefly saying it's the introduction of practical and student-oriented education to agrarian higher education in mentioned countries. So here's brief information about Samarkand Veterinary Medicine Institute. So it was established as Samarkand Agriculture Institute, and it was re-established as Veterinary Medicine Institute on 2018. So there are 6 faculties, plenty of academic departments, and more than 5,000 students. Now it's a little bit more, about 6,000. This institute is growing and widening now. Qisqacha Samarqand veterinar meditsinasi instituti haqida, bu demak Samarqand qishloq xo'jaligi instituti bazasida 2018-yilda tashkil etilgan. Samarqand qishloq xo'jaligi 1929-yilda tashkil etilgan, demak 90 yildan ortiq tarixga ega bo'lgan institut hisoblanadi. Bu yerda fakultetlar soni 6 ta, demak kafedralar, yo'nalishlar, hozir talaba soni hozir 6000 ga yaqinlashib qoldi. Demak, uzoq yillik tarixga ega bo'lgan keng tarmoqli oliy ta'lim muassasasi hisoblanadi. So and for at the beginning, we have started with analysis of status of internships in Uzbekistan as well as in Armenia and in Ukraine. So according to this report analysis, it was developed necessary documentation about internship placement agreements, rules, data collection, tutors, report preparation, evaluations, and everything. So first, our goal was to improve system of internships and practices in our university. Demak, asosiy maqsadlardan bittasi talabalarni amaliyotni o'tash tizimini takomillashtirish edi. Bu amaliyot o'tash tizimini takomillashtirish uchun kechagi dastlab birinchi prezident tavsiya qilgan Stanislav Menta polshalik hamkasbimiz e'lon qilgan prezentatsiya ma'zurida aytgandek, o'sha amaliyot tizimi Yevropa tajribasidan foydalangan holda takomillashtirildi. Uning barcha kerakli hujjatlari, qo'llanmalari ishlab chiqildi va amaliyotga joriy qilindi. Keyingi faoliyat bu Yevropa ittifoqida demak o'qitish, malaka oshirish, albatta professor o'qituvchilarni yetarli darajada bilim bilan qurollandirish kerak edi. Yevropa oliy ta'lim muassasalarida masofadan o'qitish metodlari va talabalarga yo'naltirilgan o'quv rejalarini, fan dasturlarini ishlab chiqish, undan keyin ta'lim natijalarini bitiruvchilarning professional darajasiga moslashtirish, amaliyotga yo'naltirilgan o'qish, ta'lim materiallarini ishlab chiqish hamda muhim qismlardan bittasi o'sha ma'lumotlar bazalarini, bugungi prezentatsiyada ko'rsatilgan ma'lumotlar bazalarini, ya'ni qishloq xo'jaligi ishlab chiqarishga oid ma'lumotlar bazalarini yaratish va amaliyotga kiritishdan iborat edi. So next important part of activities was trainings in faculty, and faculty members trained on listed topics in European countries. So, and that was very important. So the topics were on distance learning, developing of competence-based curricula, in general curricular development, and one of the important work packages was on database development, which were detailed presented by today's speakers before the break. And in frame of project, so six students had internship mobilities to European universities, and meanwhile the 2-week training program was provided for 6 teachers who accompanied students, and they also had opportunity to observe farm management practice in European countries. So, and I should tell that both Samarkand and Andijan universities have introduced themes of provision of internships at European countries, especially in Germany, and particularly in Poland. So our students are going for internships as the 3rd year of their studies to German farms from 2 to 6 months. And that's a very important part of their CV for their future employability. Qilinadigan ishlar bizda 6 ta talabamiz yuqorida Andijon misolida aytilgan 6 talabamiz Yevropa oliy ta'lim muassasalariga va fermer xo'jaliklariga 2 oylik amaliyotga borib kelishdi. Bu shu paytda o'zida 2 haftalik treninglar, seminarlar, amaliyotga rahbarlik qiladigan professor o'qituvchilar uchun ham amalga oshirildi. Ular bevosita shu joyida Yevropa universitetlar qanday qilib amaliyotga talabalarni joyida o'sha ishlab chiqarishda rahbarlik qilishni o'rganib kelishdi. Va shuni aytib o'tish kerakki, Andijon va Samarqand oliy ta'lim muassasalarida demak Yevropaning, ayniqsa Germaniya qishloq xo'jalik korxonalariga 2 oydan 6 oygacha amaliyotga jo'natish yo'lga qo'yilgan. Bu amaliyotlar talabalarni kelajakda ishga joylashishda demak anchagina muhim rol o'ynaydi deb xulosa qilishimiz mumkin. Keyingi qilingan muhim natijalardan, amalga oshirilgan ishlardan va erishilgan natijalardan bittasi bu ishlab chiqarish iqtisodiyoti, qishloq xo'jaligi ishlab chiqarish iqtisodiyoti fanidan ochiq onlayn kurslar tashkil qilindiki, bu yaratildiki, bu yaratilgan kurslar demak o'sha fanning 21 ta mavzusini qamrab oladi va bular 4 ta tilda barcha materiallari demak to'liq kurs sifatida 4 ta tilda yaratildi. Ingliz, o'zbek, ukrain va alman tillarida yaratildi. O'sha mamlakatda foydalanuvchilarni qo'llashlari mumkin. Bu kurslar, bu mavzular nafaqat talabalar uchun, balki ishlab chiqarishdagi qishloq xo'jaligi xodimlari uchun ham ancha foydali bo'lib hisoblanadi. U yerda amaliyot, demak amaliy mashg'ulotlar, prezentatsiyalar hammasi o'sha tanlab 4 ta tildan bittasidan olishi mumkin. Va bu sohadagi bizning tajribamiz, olgan bilimlarimiz o'tgan yil pandemiya paytida juda qo'l keldi va o'shanda olgan tajriba yordamida biz darslarimizni tezlik bilan onlayn tizimga o'tkazish imkoniyatiga ega bo'ldik. So next work package, next result is MOOCs. So it was already presented. We have 21 mock lectures, and I should say that our experience and knowledge gained on development during the development of these MOOCs were very useful. Last year, when we had to, in short time, within 2 weeks, have to adapt our teaching to online distance mode. So we used those experience for that, and we could briefly achieve that result. So next is a farm data management system. So it is already explained by Heinz Peter and Kate. So we do not achieve results like in Ukraine, but we are working on that together with Andijan on the introduction of this kind of system in Uzbekistan too. So we think that this is a topic for next joint activities with our European partners. Keyingisi bu o'sha qishloq xo'jaligini boshqarish bo'yicha ma'lumotlar bazalari, bu yuqorida demak prezentatsiyada aytildi tanaffusdan oldin. Shuni aytish kerakki, bu Ukrainada kabi yuqori natijalarga erishganimiz yo'q. Dastlabki etapdamiz va keyingi hamkorlikdagi faoliyat uchun, keyingi loyihalar uchun mavzu bu xizmat qilishi mumkin. So student internship and practice, this is also, as I already said, that we have introduced revised and modernized student internship and practice for 3 bachelor programs for 2 faculties since 2018-2019 academic year, and now it's on use. Yangilangan amaliyot tizimlari aytish kerakki, bizning institutda, Salqin veterinar meditsinasi institutida 3 ta bakalavriat yo'nalishida 2 ta fakultetda demak joriy qilingan va amalga oshirib kelinmoqda. Asosiy natijalarni oladigan bo'lsak, demak bu o'lchanadigan, ya'ni hisobotga beriladigan natijalar, bular shu yuqorida aytib o'tgandek 3 ta bakalavriat yo'nalishining 2 ta fakultetda 3 ta bakalavriat yo'nalishi o'quv rejalari qaytadan modernizatsiya qilindi, rivojlantirildi. U yerdagi amaliyotlarni o'tash tizimi muddati o'zgartirildi va fanlari o'sha amaliyot mavzulari fanlar bir-biriga uyg'unlashtirildi. So you can see here results, tangible outcomes. So as I thought, we have piloted the new schemes for 3 bachelor programs. Seven key experts from our university had trained in new teaching methods, database management, intention programs, in Britain, in Washington, in Yashi, Romania, in Wrocław, Poland. Demek bizni 7ta professor o'qituvchilarimiz Yevropa o'sha hamkor universitetlarida zamonaviy o'qitish usullari, ma'lumotlar bazalarini yaratish, talabalar amaliyotini tashkil etish kabi mavzularda o'z malakalarini oshirib kelishdi. Yuqorida aytilgandek 21 ta mavzularda 21 ta ta'lim videolari va MOOClar, ya'ni massiv onlayn ochiq kurslar qishloq xo'jaligi menejment sohasida 4 ta tilda shakllantirildi va foydalanish mumkin. Bu YouTube'da ham va loyihaning veb-saytida ham demak foydalanish mumkin. Bundan tashqari nemis tilini o'rganish kurslari tashkil qilindi va yuqorida aytganimdek o'sha Germaniya qishloq xo'jaligi korxonalarida talabalar amaliyotini o'tash yo'lga qo'yilgan. Bu nafaqat veterinar meditsina institutida, balki Toshkent davlat iqtisodiyot instituti Samarqand filialida ham bu shartnomalar tuzilib, talabalar amaliyotga jo'nash bo'yicha ishlar davom etib kelmoqda. Va ma'lumotlar bazalari ham rivojlantirib ta'lim jarayoniga joriy qilingan. And we have we have translated a book of agriculture production economics into Uzbek and published it, and together with our partners we have developed a handbook on student placement and in English, and we have translated it into Uzbek and published it in both languages. And these books are being disseminated among partners and stakeholders. Keyingi natijalardan bittasi bu qishloq xo'jaligi ishlab chiqarish iqtisodiyoti kitobi ingliz tilidan o'zbek tiliga tarjima qilindi, chop etildi. O'quv uslubiy qo'llanma talabalarni amaliyotini joriy qilish, zamonaviy ta'lim berish usullari mavzusidagi uslubiy qo'llanma ingliz tilida chop qilindi va bu uslubiy qo'llanma o'zbek tiliga tarjima qilinib, demak chop qilindi va o'sha hamkorlarga hamda turli xil foydalanuvchilar uchun bepul tarqatilmoqda. Va loyiha doirasida veterinar meditsina institutiga demak o'quv vositalari, ya'ni uskunalari, kompyuterlar, serverlar, printerlar va boshqa uskunalar hamda dasturiy ta'minotlar sotib olinib, o'rnatilgan va o'sha talabalar ham o'quvchilar foydalanib kelmoqda. Hamda o'sha virtual platforma yaratilib, bu demak hamkorlar bilan birgalikda ishlatib kelinmoqda. So also project provided some equipment like server, computers, copy machines, and others equipment, as well as some software for educational use. And this equipment purchased, installed in use at Samarkand Veterinary Medicine Institute. So we make some dissemination activities. So we make publications, different publications, or made presentations or conferences, newsletters, or TV news. That's another outcome of project. Loyiha natijalari bir qancha konferensiyalarda, jurnallarda prezentatsiya qilingan, chop qilingan va tarqatilgan, shuningdek Samarqandda bo'lib o'tgan treninglar va yig'ilishlar mahalliy televideniyada hamda gazeta jurnallarda e'lon qilingan va chop qilingan, demak loyiha natijalari tarqatib kelinmoqda. Thank you very much for your attention. I tried to be brief and present in 2 languages. So if there are any questions from the presenters, I am happy to answer that. E'tiborlaringiz uchun rahmat. Ikkita tilda asosiy natijalarni yetkazishga harakat qildim. Agar savollar bo'ladigan bo'lsa, marhamat.
Katerinaga bergan savolni hozir Opus programmasini, dasturini eng yaxshi ishlaridan biri darslarga ma'lumotlar to'plab, real ma'lumotlarni ishlashga qaratilmoqda. Masalan, hozir proyekt tugaydi. Bundan keyin masalan bitta ham doirasida yoki bitta 10 ta 100 ta fermer doirasida ma'lumot to'plash haqini qanchaga tushadi? Chunki davom ettirish universitetlarga qanday?
The question was about database application, web application, or database in general. So that's Professor Galif is asking our colleague, and his main question is, it was already asked to the Kate. What is the cost of average cost of obtaining such kind of data from one farm? And I'll answer in English, and please correct me, our colleagues, Hans-Peter, Ralph, Kate, if I'm wrong.
Maybe I can answer.
Yes, please.
The costs in the case of Ukraine was that there were 175, Katie has written it in the chat, 175 euros a year and university available. But if we talk about the cost for supporting students, then we have to see how much courses are involved, how much students are involved, how big is the distance. The basic problem I would like to come from the other side. We have seen in Ukraine that the lecturers and students should go to the farms and the lecturers should support, but there was no money in the budget of the university to do so. So at the end, the lecturer had to pay to go to the field. And that's a mistake in the organization, because this way it will not work. So we try to find some money to start with this idea. And I think it's important for all university to make a real good cost calculation, what they want to do, how much it is, and to put it into the budget of the university. Otherwise, it will not work in the long run.
Yeah, may I add something to that? Well, that's a typical economic question. If we are talking about fixed costs, so people who are employed by the university to supervise this data collection and to do this data collection, or if you have to pay, or there are always some variable costs, some proportional costs involved, transport, for example, going to the farm. And therefore, as Professor Schlauderer already said, certain budget would be a good idea for the university. So for the mobility of the supervisors, but it's also a structural question. So the structure at the university should allow for somebody or some people who really do this later on, also data input, database management full time. So this is a position which is not available at a lot of universities right now. But we try to initiate this process that universities think about the new age, so that the internet is not only there for their homepages, but also for sharing information, and then restructure also their stuff in a way that allows for such issues, this collection of real data, real local data, because this is, in our opinion, an opportunity for the universities also to show or say to provide services to their societies, and also to improve their standing in the local and international community. So costs is, as I said, two parts: fixed costs and proportional costs. For the proportional costs, would be a good idea to have a budget so that there are not always repeated discussions if visits are possible or not, but this becomes a fixed part of the tasks and of the services of universities.
Katie, can you just give the example for Ukraine, for one university, for example, how it was calculated and so on?
So it was calculated the distance, and for example, we took into account the regulation about business trips. So there is a price. So I contact first our responsible person who is the head of auto car park, and he gave me some numbers how it might be, and okay. We calculated the price of fuel and the distance from the university to the farm. Of course, in Kiev, the distance it's much more longer, and it's much more far, the farms from university. For example, in Rivne, it's closer. In Sumy, it's also closer. In Mykolaiv, also. So such factors were taken into account, and the cost was briefly done.
And it was about 175 euros per year per university.
Per month?
Per month, sorry.
Per year, you are thinking very cheap about
Sorry.
No, it's okay. Yeah, 175 euro per one university, but again, this cost might be, for example, the first 3 months or 4 months, no cost at all, because the students have a normal theoretical classes and no trips and visits for farms. And next 4, let's say a month, or when the placements are going on the university, of course the cost might be much higher than 175, and coordinators support the travel cost. And
this includes just the data collection, or also then the database management, the data
No, Heinz-Peter, this includes only data collection, travel cost.
Dear colleagues, we have to give out the chance to translate a bit of what we discussed.
In general, so Dr. Gali is English speaker, so he fluent understanding, but I'll translate for wider audience. So demek bu savolga ma'lumotlar bazasi degan savol bo'ldi. Umuman olganda ma'lumotlar bazasi bu talabalarni amaliyotga borgan paytda o'sha qishloq xo'jalik korxonasi haqida ma'lumotlarni to'plash uchun bir vosita yaratish edi. Ya'ni o'sha yerda hisobot yozish kerak, hisobot uchun ma'lumotlarni yig'ish kerak. Odatda qog'ozga kiritardi, kiritardi. Uni o'zini formasi qilindi va lekin shu bilan birgalikda hozirgi paytda iqtisodiy ma'lumotlar juda qimmatli va yuqori qiymatli va qimmatlidir. Buni shug'ullanganda biladi va bu ma'lumotlar ilmiy maqsadlarda va tijorat maqsadlarida keng foydalanish mumkin. Ya'ni bu hozir Ukrainada amalga oshirilgan va Germaniyada mavjud bo'lgan tizim bu ham ta'limda, ham ilmiy ishlarda, ham tijoriy maqsadlarda foydalaniladi. Biz demak Ukrainada biroz oldinroqqa ketdikki, bu o'sha Germaniya tizimini joriy qilish bo'yicha. Bizning maqsadimiz, dastlabki maqsadimiz o'sha talabalar foydalanishi uchun o'sha yerga borganda amaliyotga borganda o'sha qishloq xo'jaligi sohasida o'rgangan hamma ma'lumotlarni o'sha kompyuter yoki telefonga kiritib ketaveradi va u ma'lumotlar to'planib, ya'ni umumiy bazaga to'planadi va hisobot yozishda va keyinchalik kurs ishini bitirishini yozishda shulardan foydalanish mumkin degan mazmunda bo'lgan edi. Endi savol ko'zlaringiz, demak o'sha bu ya'ni professional darajada ma'lumotlar bazasiga erishish uchun bitta fermer xo'jaligiga qanchaga tushadi degan savolga javob shunday bo'ldiki, demak Ukraina misolida bitta fermer xo'jaligini 1 yil davomida olish bu 175 yevro, bu asosan ma'lumotlarni to'plash, ya'ni bu komandorka xarajatlari shuni ichiga olingan, ya'ni borish, kelish, yashash o'shalar e'tiborga olingan. Endi Heinz Peterning keyingi haligisi bo'ldi, qo'shimchasi bu o'sha oliy ta'lim muassasalari strukturasida bu narsa ko'zda tutilmagan. Budjetida ko'zda tutilmagan deyildi, ya'ni o'sha yerda nafaqat to'plash, balki uni saqlab turish va qayta ishlash xarajatlari ham bor bu ma'lumotlarni. Bu ham demak oliy ta'lim muassasalarida, universitetlarda hisobda ko'zda tutilishi kerak va demak o'sha budjet ajratilib, shtat ajratilib, bu ta'minlanib turishi kerak degan demak savol bo'ldi va yuqorida aytilgan demak xulosalar aytildi. Yana savollar, other questions? I'm not seeing any raised hands. No, thank you. Dear friends, dear colleagues, we have finished with presentations for today too, and for concluding remarks, Ralph, will you make some?
The last sentence I have not understood.
So we have finished with presentations. So on concluding remarks.
Okay, so the turn is to me.
Yes.
Dear colleagues, dear guests, dear friends, we are coming to the final. This was the final presentation of Topaz in Uzbekistan. One is left, and that's the one in Ukraine, in Sumy, and we hope the last one we can have offline and not online. But we will see, because COVID is really challenging all of us privately and officially also from organizational point. Let me thank first the European Commission and the National Erasmus Office for supporting us with this project. And forward, I will give you the chance to translate, okay?
Bu loyihaning O'zbekistondagi oxirgi tadbiri edi. Biz yana bitta tadbirimiz qolyapti, bu Ukrainada, Sumida. Uni demak an'anaviy tarzda o'tkazishga umid qilamiz. Biz o'sha loyiha ishtirokchilarini hamda Erasmus milliy ofisini qo'llab-quvvatlagani uchun minnatdorchilik bildiramiz.
We all agree that international cooperation is important, and to have the exchange of ideas and to collaborate to try to solve the big challenges we have in all of our countries.
Bizning fikrimizcha xalqaro hamkorlik bu juda yaxshi natijalarga erishadi, ya'ni muvaffaqiyatga olib boradi va barcha mamlakatlardagi o'zgarishlarni, islohotlarni qo'llab-quvvatlaydi.
But we all know that it's difficult to collaborate internationally with such a lot of universities and with such a lot of people involved, and everybody has to do also other things.
Va shuningdek shuni kuzatishimiz kerakki, juda ko'plab oliy ta'lim muassasalari, juda ko'plab mamlakatlarda oliy ta'lim muassasalari va kishilarning ishtirokidagi bu hamkorlikni amalga oshirish ancha qiyinchiliklari bor, chunki har bir hamkorning o'zini qiladigan boshqa o'zini asosiy faoliyat turi ham bor.
So I'm happy about our project team and the collaboration, because I always had the feeling that we are really closely cooperating and getting forward and trying to solve the problems which were on our way.
Lekin men shundan xursandmanki, bizning loyihamiz komandasi, jamoasi har doim umumiy maqsad sari intilgan va o'sha muammolarni yechishga harakat qilgan va bunday jamoadan ishtirok etganimga xursandman.
And a special thank you is given from the team to Heinz-Peter Wolf, who was trying to keep us together and to organize all the different tasks.
Va loyiha komandasi tomonidan Heinz-Peter Wolfga ham barchani birgalikda ushlab turganligi va faoliyatni muvofiqlashtirib turganligi uchun katta rahmat aytmoqchiman.
So now I'm coming to do speak side with Antichan and in particular also with Samarkand. We had trustful partners in the work for getting forward.
Va biz O'zbekiston hamkorlar aytadigan bo'lsak, Andijon va Samarqandlik hamkorlardan har doim ishonchli hamkorliklarga ega bo'lganmiz.
And we are living in a challenging world, not just because of COVID. COVID will go over after 1 or 2 years, it is done. But agriculture is changing and food supply has to be given to our people and they need to have income possibilities. So we are really challenged in the field of supporting our society with good education and formation and to give our young people the right way how to develop for the future, to be a part of the society and to improve the living conditions.
Biz chaqiriqlar, turli xil muammolar mavjud bo'lgan hayotda yashayapmiz. Nafaqat COVID 1 yil yoki 2 yilda o'tib ketadi, lekin qishloq xo'jaligi, oziq-ovqat bilan ta'minot bu doimiy ravishda o'zgarib rivojlanib borayotgan sohalardandir va biz bu sohalarni sifatli ta'lim bilan birga qo'llab-quvvatlashimiz kerak.
And Topaz has given in 3 important directions input, which is now with the universities, with the partner universities, and can be used to go on this way. And these 3 parts are placements. This part is about interactive learning, another kind of lecturing, which we need all over the world, and about data and data collection and data storage, that we have the real data of our farms and our people around, and not some data internationally of FAO, which is not really mirroring what's going on next door on the farm.
Va Topaz loyihasi bu sohani qo'llab-quvvatlayotgan 3 ta yo'nalishda faoliyat yuritdi. Birinchisi bu talabalarni amaliyotga joylashtirish, ikkinchisi bu barcha uchun qo'l keladigan zamonaviy interaktiv ta'lim berish usullari va uchinchisi haqiqiy hayotga, haqiqiy ishlab chiqarishga asoslangan, tayangan ma'lumotlar bazalari bo'lib, bu ma'lumotlar bazalari masalan FAO tomonidan berilgan yetkazib berilayotgan ma'lumotlardan ancha-muncha farq qilib, bu aynan pastda yerda ishlab chiqarishdagi holatni uni o'zida aks ettiradi.
Now Topaz is going to be finished. It's a project, but the collaboration will go on. We have to collaborate further and drive it forward. And we have seen where are the fields where we can and where we have to collaborate for the future. Katarina Tuschek has shown with the UFMD such an approach which can be used also in Uzbekistan to create this data for the universities to be used in lecturing, extension service, and so on.
Topaz bitta loyiha bo'lib, bu o'zini tugash muddati bor, lekin hamkorligimiz davom etishi kerak. Ukrainadan Katarina Tuschek o'sha loyihani taqdimot qildiki, bu loyiha kelajakda hamkorlikda O'zbekiston bilan hamkorlikni davom ettirish uchun misol bo'la oladi.
I think you agree that is this question of student-centered learning, which our key colleagues have shown us, with the inverted classroom and this field is so important for us because the knowledge which is available now cannot be just in the hand of a professor and given to students. It's much more huge. We have to show the students how they can deal with knowledge. So we will also have to think about in this direction to get better, to get more professional with modern lecturing methods.
Zamonaviy ta'lim berish usullari Buyuk Britaniya hamkorlar tomonidan taqdim qilingan ta'lim berish usullari, teskari o'rganilgan auditoriya kabi o'sha usullar bu bilim berishning ahamiyatini ko'rsatib, bu bilim berish, ta'lim berishni haqiqiy professionallar qo'liga o'tishi va professionallashuvini zaruriyatini ifodalab beradi.
So in the last point, Farhad, you already mentioned, COVID showed us that digitalization is much more important than we thought before, that online materials can be really helpful, and that we have to develop more online material, and that we have to have a better look for digitalization of our universities and the possibilities about it. This also has to be improved in future. And if we have an exchange, we can support each other. That not everybody has to do everything themselves, but to exchange and to get more forward together.
Yuqorida aytilgandek, COVID pandemiyasi ta'limni raqamlashishini, onlayn ta'lim berishni, oliy ta'lim muassasalarini, universitetlarni onlayn tizimga o'tishini ahamiyatini, muhimligini ko'rsatib berdi. Bu sohada biz hammamiz bir-birimizni qo'llab-quvvatlashimiz va almashinuvni yo'lga qo'yishimiz kerakki, ham bir tomon hamma narsani qila olmaydi va qilishi shart emas, balki bir-birimizni to'ldirib, o'sha mahsulotlarni va g'oyalarni almashishimiz, qo'llab-quvvatlashimiz zarur.
So a lot of fields, a lot of possibilities, chances and challenges for the future. But I'm not afraid about that. We will deal with it and we will find good solutions, because I'm 100% sure if we have good collaboration, a trustful cooperation, and we are cooperating as friends together, then we will solve all the obstacles which will be in front of us. And so I'm looking forward for the future for further cooperation in the field of where we really think it's important to improve our situation and the universities. And at the very end of this conclusion marks, I would like to thank all participants to take the time to listen to us. And we, as I speak for the TOPAS team in total, we really hope that everything which we have done is supporting the development of your university and at the end of the living conditions of your people in your countries. Thank you very much for all of this, and let us work together for a better future of our people. Thank you.
Ko'rib turganingizdek, imkoniyatlar, yechimlar, hamkorlik aloqalari, imkoniyatlari juda ko'p va yengib o'tish kerak bo'lgan to'siqlar ham juda ko'p. Kelajakda biz shu sohalarni, shu to'siqlarni yengib o'tishda, muammolarni yechishda, o'z faoliyatimizni takomillashtirishda hamkorlikni amalga oshirish davom etishiga umid qilaman. Men shu yerda qatnashgan, konferensiya qatnashgan barchasiga o'sha qatnashganlik uchun, o'z diqqatlarini qaratganliklari uchun minnatdorchilik bildiraman va hammalaringizga, demak, kelajakda ham yaxshi hamkorlikni umid qilgan holda hammalaringizga o'z minnatdorchilikni bildiraman. Rahmat.
And Farhad, the word is with you.
So from our side is our director of Samarkand branch of Tashkent State University of Economics, Professor Olim Murtazoyev.
Assalomu alaykum azizlar, hurmatli konferensiya qatnashchilari. Haqiqatda bu konferensiyaning ahamiyati juda muhimligi shundan iboratki, yuqorida ta'kidlanganidek, qanday sharoitda bo'lmasin, biz hamkorlik doirasida bu ishlarni amalga oshirish imkoniyatini izlab topar ekanmiz va bunga erishar ekanmiz. Biz guvohi bo'ldik. Haqiqatda qanday subyektiv sabablar bunga to'sqinlik qila olmaydi va bundan keyin ham bunday hamkorlikni janob Shlauderer sizga va barcha xorijiy va mahalliy hamkorlarga ishonib aytish mumkinki, bunday konferensiyalar yanada davom etadi. Va biz nafaqat bir respublika doirasida, balki butun hamjamiyat bo'lib, hamkor bo'lib ishlaydigan davlatlar, oliy ta'lim muassasalari o'rtasida bunday fan va fan orqali butun ishlab chiqarishga ijobiy ta'sir ko'rsatadigan loyihalar ustida ishlashimizga katta imkoniyatlar yaratadi. Va bu sohada men sizga ham, boshqa hamkorlarga ham mustahkam sog'lik, salomatlik ishlarida ulkan muvaffaqiyatlar tilayman.
Good afternoon, dear participants, dear friends, international and domestic participants. So today's conference showed the importance of cooperation, collaboration, and showed that there are always possibilities to such kind of conferences despite pandemic conditions. And I hope and I'm sure that we can continue development of activity, development of institutions, and continue our activities with assistance and with and help and cooperation with partners like Professor Schlauder and other participated colleagues from partner universities, and these activities will help us to improve our cooperation on science production. And I wish all of you good health and success on your career in your life. And thank you very much. And from my side, so I would like to thank all of you that for your patience on different languages. That we are sorry for that we cannot arrange simultaneous translation, but but we tried to do our best, and I really hope for concluding meeting in Ukraine in Sumy that we could face-to-face discuss future projects, future activities, and also I would like to thank to all other partners, both domestic and international. We had and have participants from Turkey, from India, from Kazakhstan, from Kyrgyzstan yesterday and today, and from Armenia, from Ukraine is the project partners. And we have, as I said, non-project partners from different countries and from Uzbekistan too. So, and I just want to announce that we will accept papers till Monday, full papers to be included to conference proceedings, and with help of our Andijan partners, we are going to publish paperback version of proceedings with included, and we will incorporate this conference webpage with webpage of project and try to disseminate it all over. So these 2 days conference recorded already have been streamed live on YouTube, and the record also will be put permanently to YouTube and project web page as well. And we will issue certificates of participation and these certificates will be soon, let's say within a week, will be available at a project web page where you can find and download certificate with your name on it. And thank you very much again for your participation. So main outcomes of today's main conclusions from today's conference also will be included to recommendations and policy brief of this conference, and will be provided to the ministers of higher education and Minister of Agriculture as well, and together with outcomes of conference and project. So thank you very much again. Barcha ishtirokchilarga men o'z minnatdorchilikni bildirmoqchiman. Sizlarni qatnashganlaringiz uchun, konferensiyaga maqola topshirgan hamkorlar diqqatiga shu biz bu maqolalarni tahririyat a'zolari tomonidan ko'rib chiqilmoqda joyida va ko'rib chiqilgandan keyin barchasini o'sha konferensiya to'plamiga kiritamiz. Konferensiya to'plami demak onlayn chop etiladi va bizning andijonlik hamkorlar yordami bilan birgalikda hamkorlikda kitob shaklida ham chop qilish rejalashtirilmoqda. Shuningdek, taxminan bir hafta yoki 10 kun ichida bu to'plam bilan birgalikda qatnashish sertifikatlari ham o'sha konferensiyani web sahifasiga joylanadi. Siz o'zingizni tegishli bo'lgan o'sha sertifikatni topib ko'chirib olishingiz mumkin bo'ladi. Bundan tashqari o'sha konferensiyada sizning maqolalaringizni o'sha Google Scholar, Google Akademiya tizimida ham joylashtirish bo'yicha ishlar amalga oshirilmoqda. Taxminan bir oylar ichida bu ishlar yakunlansa, uni ham keyinchalik o'z maqolalaringizni o'sha yerda olishlaringiz va tegishli tartibda demak iqtiboslar berishlaringiz imkoniyatiga ega bo'ladi. Barchani tashkilotchilar tomonidan qatnashganlar uchun minnatdorchilik bildiramiz. Shu bilan konferensiya ishini yopiq deb e'lon qilamiz. Thank you very much. So now we have to announce that conference, this 2 days conference is closed. Thank you very much for your participation again.
Thank you, everybody. And now it's Friday for you, and the day is done, and it's late afternoon. Have a nice weekend, everybody. And for the European partners, we still have to wait a little bit. We are going for lunch. All the best. Stay healthy. Happy to have had this collaboration together with the TOPAS team, with you. And thank you very much for some forward for this kind of organization of the conference, and the flexibility and the professionality. So all the best. Have a nice weekend, everybody. See you soon here or there. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye. Larissa,
Bye. Thank you, all of you. Thank you, Farod. Thank you, Samarkand. Thanks a lot.
Здравствуйте. Спасибо за участие.
Спасибо.
Спасибо за блестящую организацию.
Спасибо.
Thank you, Peter.
Thank you.
Yo'q qo'ying, yo'q qo'ying. Mikrofonni yo'q qo'ying.
Assalomu alaykum. Domla rahmat. Farhod aka. Rahmat. Sizlarga ham rahmat. Yaxshi bo'ldi. Omad. Domla rahmat. Ibrohim aka, salomat bo'ling. Ovozingizni eshityapman.
Endi mikrofonni o'chirib zakamiz. Mayli, men rasmga tushamiz-da. Eng oson ish shu.